this what you want? This fucking foliage? Is this what you want? Mr. Dips? Is this what you want? Me standing in front of EC3 buying designer coats? Is this what you want? Me sitting in some hipster hotel in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, fluffing pillows? Is this what you want? I don't believe this. This graffiti art, it's the hotels, avocado toast. All I want is a fucking Guinness. An ice cold Guinness. What the hell does that mean? Oh, this is what you wanted. This is your Monday Night Raw review right here on Off the Script. Well, Monday Night Raw just went off the air. And I have to say, I wanted to like this show very, very much, folks. I wanted to like it very much to a point where I was actually tweeting positive thoughts during this show tonight, which I know is a rarity. You caught me on a good night. I wanted to like this show so much, but I did not. It's not like the show was actually a complete disaster. It was just fucking boring. It was just boring. Nothing on this show meant anything at all. At all. And WWE has nobody to blame but themselves. They looked themselves in the mirror on SummerSlam Sunday and realized that, hey, it's SummerSlam, it's just another show. Let's get it over with and move on to Monday Night Raw. You should not be thinking with that type of mentality, man. I can honestly say that it is not SummerSlam. It's Summer Scam. This is what we call it right here on the podcast. It is Summer Scam. This is not the biggest party of the summer. It's the biggest fraud of the summer. Because you gave me 3 weeks of SummerSlam build, and then you want to turn around and hype it up as the biggest party of the summer. Please tell me who is excited about this piece of shit on Sunday night. Nobody. Nobody. This is not my SummerSlam. My SummerSlam is on Saturday night, folks. I'm not sure if you're aware. NXT TakeOver is my SummerSlam. It is many people's SummerSlams. And once again, NXT is going to completely decimate the main roster and show them how it needs to be done. When I think of a party, I think of pretty girls in a pool. I think of cold beer. I think of being free, living life stress-free. I think of the barbecue grill being turned on, flipping burgers, slicing hot dogs, potato bun, please, on both, spicy mustard on the dog, extra cheese, cheddar preferably, on my hamburger, with a side of barbecue sauce, man, pickles on the side, please. That's what I think of when I think of a party. Are you excited about SummerSlam? Because if this is WWE's version of a party, people will be tucked in at 8 p.m. Bedtime stories for all, while the adults go and do adult-like things. And that does not mean WWE. This show sucked, folks. SummerSlam sucks. Monday Night Raw sucks. Everything about this product is painfully boring. Boring. And I don't want to sit here and start it off with negativity, but the build for SummerSlam has been absolutely fucking lazy. Lazy. This is not what I call a build. This is one of the worst builds that WWE has ever embarked on. Really. I don't know how you could sit there and be excited about it. The only thing that I'm legitimately excited about on Sunday night is the debut of Bray Wyatt as The Fiend, and I'm interested to see how Trish Stratus works with Charlotte Flair. That's it. I don't know what else to tell you. Apparently Dolph Ziggler is shocked at Bill Goldberg. Even Goldberg. He didn't feel important for Super Showdown, and he certainly doesn't feel important here. Because we all know why he's back. If you have a functioning brain and two working eyeballs that see clearly, you know why Bill Goldberg is back with the WWE again. Dolph Ziggler was the only one who was surprised by Bill Goldberg coming out on Monday Night Raw. Maybe Dolph Ziggler went internet free for 3 weeks. Everybody was reporting about it. What are you so surprised about? Did you expect Bill Goldberg to not show up after you name-dropped him? This build has been lazy. And WWE, according to sources tonight, was frantically running around with a half an hour to go, still trying to piece this show together. That's exactly how it feels on Sunday night with SummerSlam. I don't know how many matches are going to be taking place at SummerSlam. All I know, it's going to be a reported 6 hours. But whatever is on that show does not feel at all important. Not even close to being important. And my God, you talk about the reset button being hit after WrestleMania. The reset button, absolutely, it is imperative to the overall feel of this brand and this company as a whole. It is imperative that a reset button is hit after SummerSlam. I don't know what that is, but man, things need to change. Whether that's a draft, another shakeup, going back to a dedicated brand split and roster split, Vince McMahon just being removed altogether. Something needs to happen. Something. Because right now, more and more, week by week, the announcements of Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff were clearly done as a troll. It was done to put faith back in the stockholders who seem to be very distant and very wary about WWE's financials. So they had to make an executive decision here, WWE, by hiring Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff and announcing them. But the more we see that no change is being felt, the more that decision was made like that just for the sake of keeping everybody at ease. It means nothing. The shows otherwise would have felt different. Have I noticed difference? Some. I haven't noticed difference about how the shows are operating and how the shows feel, but I've noticed things that they have not done in years being instituted back to Monday Night Raw. Have I seen them go away for the most part with this Vince McMahon no wrestling during the commercials edict? Yes, it's still there. It's not gone completely, but I appreciate that they're moving away from it. The fact that WWE hasn't mentioned anything about the wild card, they're leaving it up to you. They don't even give you a reason why SmackDown is showing up on Monday Night Raw now. They just have a SmackDown Live superstar come out and give them the SmackDown Live graphic, showing you that they're a part of SmackDown Live. Nothing mentioned about the wild card, which hopefully the rumors are true that after SummerSlam, that rule is going to be dead completely. And they are quietly moving away from it, and that's the reason why they haven't mentioned it on Monday Night Raw, because they are indeed quietly moving away from it and want you to forget about the disaster that was the wild card rule, because it did absolutely nothing to make the shows better. In fact, it's made the shows worse. And it's made it completely unbearable for all the talent not being used. Because you thought they were going to be used with this wild card rule, it actually was the reverse way. Only the top stars were being used, and everybody else seeking an opportunity was completely buried even more so. Things need to change, folks. Summer Scam is Sunday. SummerSlam is on Saturday night. Just make sure you're aware of that this coming weekend. I'm JD. This is Off the Script for Monday Night Raw. Thank you guys so very much for joining me right here on the podcast. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below. Right down underneath the video, man. We are here every week with Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and Off the Script. Every weekend, the flagship podcast right here on the channel. This coming weekend, we're going to be 286, episode 286. It's going to be a busy weekend, man. I got House of Glory, I got TakeOver, I got SummerSlam. I don't even know how I'm going to get in podcast time, but it's going to happen. So make sure you guys subscribe and turn on that bell to make sure you're all notified of when the videos go live right there on the channel. Follow me on social media, man, and thank you to everybody that kindly followed me on social media, whether you enjoy my opinions and my takes or you just want to laugh at me, whatever, man. Thank you Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. That's on Twitter and Instagram. If you guys want to show some extra appreciation for the podcast and the hard work that goes into all that I do here, patreon.com/JD from NY206. If you guys missed anything that I uploaded this week, you guys got to go check out Off the Script episode 285. On Friday, we talked about Cody Rhodes and him saying that AEW on TNT will not be catering to the casual fans, and the report of WWE quietly moving away from the wildcard rule. On part 2, Saturday, we talked about Daniel Bryan, Samoa Joe, Buddy Murphy. Who is it? I hope it's not Daniel Bryan, but I talk about the Roman situation and who ran him or tried to run him over tonight and tried to kill him on SmackDown Live. And then on Sunday, we talked about a report about Seth Rollins not being cool anymore, why WWE is to blame for that, and how they're desperately trying to make Seth Rollins cool again. And if it's any indication after tonight, WWE is absolutely killing all of the credibility that Seth Rollins once had, and they are desperately trying to turn him into WWE's version of a bitch. Because all I see from Seth Rollins is 100% grade A pussy. And I mean that wholeheartedly, man. And I hate the fact that I'm saying that, but Rollins looked like a pathetic, sad individual tonight on Monday Night Raw. We'll talk about that. Go and check it out. Everything you need is linked in the top right corner of the screen. Podcast tonight is brought to you by my fine friends over at the Ridge. Ridge.com/script. You guys can use code SCRIPT at checkout to save yourself 10% off, man. If you guys want to live life to the fullest and you need the easiest things to get by every single day, man, the Ridge has got you covered. Wallets, backpacks, chargers, USB cables, and knives. They got it all for you. The wallet is what I have, man. I love the wallet. Lifetime guarantee. This wallet is so overbuilt that they do not hesitate at all to include a lifetime warranty. RFID blocking. You guys can breathe easy because your cards will be surrounded by the metal body of this wallet, protecting you from the most powerful RFID chip readers, so no one is going to steal your information. It's functional and slim. It holds up to 12 cards without stretching out. I love it, man. I keep my business cards. I keep my credit cards and debit cards in there. My ID, good to go. It's safe, man. You also got a cash strap. Now, I don't carry cash, but the cash strap allows you to clip several bills inside your wallet. Available with a cash strap or a money clip. I went for the strap. And most important, folks, it is completely durable, man. You got the ultimate durability here. Aluminum plating and interchangeable elastic screws made from 6160 T6 aluminum gunmetal titanium. It is beautiful, and I can't wait for you guys to get your own so you know what I'm talking about, man. You guys can go and get it today by going to ridge.com/scripts and use code SCRIPT at checkout for 10% off. They are sponsoring the podcast tonight, and I want to say thank you to my friends over at The Ridge. I gotta say, man, to start Monday Night Raw, I have to say I appreciate it. I appreciate the fact that WWE started Monday Night Raw off in God knows how long with an opening video package and their theme music. I couldn't believe my eyes. I really couldn't believe my eyes. Now, if this is the change that Paul Heyman is trying to really institute on this show, I am all aboard. I think every show should start out with a highlight package and a theme song, just like NXT does, just like SmackDown Live used to do. We don't get that anymore. We don't get the theme music and the video package with the big logo to start the show. It just goes right into Michael Cole. Welcome to the most highly anticipated weekly episodic TV show, whatever. It's so boring. Tom Phillips is even worse. Welcome to Chicago, Illinois. This is SmackDown Live. And then we get right into the show. They need identities. And I hope that this is the start of making these shows separate, giving them identities of their own. When Raw starts, you hear the theme music, and you see the video package. When SmackDown Live starts, you hear the theme music and the video package. It needs to be done. Now, while you're at it, change the theme song for Monday Night Raw, because that Papa Roach song is complete garbage. I don't know who in WWE chose that song to be the lead-in to Monday Night Raw. Now, Papa Roach hasn't been good since maybe their second or third album. I used to like Papa Roach, not anymore. I think they're completely fucking terrible. But that song needs to be changed immediately. When SmackDown Live gets a new graphic and a new theme song and a new set, Raw needs to do the same thing. Identity is needed for these shows. Now, Samoa Joe was the first thing that we seen standing on the table, getting in Michael Cole's face on Monday Night Raw. Now, clearly this had to do with everybody blaming him for trying to kill Roman Reigns. Reggie, Roman Reigns. You know, in this Scooby-Doo mystery that they got going on, their poor take on who attacked Aleister Black. Samoa Joe interrupted the open and got in everyone's faces. Most likely Michael Cole. Everybody else was just standing there like, oh, I don't want nothing to do with you. Michael Cole was the one who was going back and forth with Samoa Joe. Said he was interrupting to right a hideous wrong. You're trying to right the hideous wrong that is Monday Night Raw. I get it, Joe. We all know the show sucks. But I don't think you, in your current state, can have any effect on that. Now, he said they're probably going to talk about what happened to Roman Reigns last week. He said people are accusing him of trying to take out Roman. He said the announcers have been blaming him, and while Roman didn't say it, he isn't denying it either. Joe yelled that he's been wrongly accused. Graves said the official word is that it was an accident, but he has to understand why he may be at something to do with it. So that makes me guilty, says Joe. Cole said more than 80% of the WWE Universe believe it was an accident. Joe said as far as he is concerned, 80% of the WWE Universe are idiots. Joe, I'll do you one better, bro. 99% of the WWE Universe are more than likely idiots. These are the people that parade around on social media with 16 numbers in their name that go by Alexa Superfan accounts with a picture of Alexa Bliss and a header of Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Meanwhile, they're tweeting about her pig's diet and possibly her home address and the daily activities that she embarks on every single week. These are the people that make up the WWE Universe. Joe pointed to the big screen to show the angle at the end of SmackDown Live last week. They showed all the camera angles and how silly it was. So they went back to live. Joe asked if anyone saw him at the scene. I didn't see anybody. I seen cheesiness. I seen terrible acting. But I did not see a Samoan named Joe. Now, he said his good name has been besmirched. So he's waiting until Reigns arrives. Then he's going to march to the ring and shut this show down until he gets the apology that he deserves. So he was going to wait for Roman Reigns to show up on Monday Night Raw. He was going to sit in the ring and stage a complete closeout of Monday Night Raw. And then out comes Becky Lynch to interrupt Samoa Joe and his pretty much hijacking of the show, making Joe and everything else that he mentioned during this segment unimportant. Because if you wanted to take Samoa Joe and his threats seriously, you would have given him the time to make a closing statement to these three goons at the commentary table, walk out on his own volition, and go to the back or go to the ring and do whatever he has to do. You could have showed him sitting at ringside the entire show. Now, I wouldn't do that because the show was fucking terrible, but you get my point. Instead of letting him walk away on his own by delivering a powerful statement to clear his name, WWE just walks all over Joe again by interrupting him with Becky Lynch. I didn't like that whatsoever, and it killed anything of this segment that had any importance whatsoever. But I will say this. with the video package and the theme music playing, and then Samoa Joe, the first thing they see is an angry Samoan standing on top of the commentary table. That was a hot open to Monday Night Raw, and a very unpredictable open to Monday Night Raw. I can't shit on that. I appreciate it. I didn't like the way that they treated Samoa Joe and could have went about it a little bit better, but I appreciate the difference in starting the show. We are seriously in need of different on this show. And WWE 6 months ago would have opened this show with a long-winded Shane McMahon video package and a 30-minute fucking promo in the ring that went nowhere, that detailed a main event that nobody was interested in. And it really set the stage for a boring show. When I see Samoa Joe standing on a commentary table yelling in Michael Cole's face about his name being dragged through the mud, I'm all ears. I don't give a shit if Samoa Joe is a loser and how they treated him in recent weeks. Anything having to do with an angry Samoan like Joe standing on the commentary table, I am all for. So I appreciate that. So we went right into Becky Lynch, Charlotte, versus Natalia and Trish Stratus. When Trish Stratus made her entrance, we heard the theme music. She did most of her ring entrance, and they went to commercial. Again, I appreciate that. That's what you should have been doing all this time. You can give me some of the ring entrance and then go to commercial, come back with both people in the ring, or if it's a tag team, both teams in this instance in the ring, and then go to commercial. Go to commercial and then have the full match play out after that commercial break during the introductions and the entrance. How difficult was that, Vince? Now it shows everybody how much of an idiot your plan, or how much of an idiot you were, and how much of a disaster your plan really was. No wrestling during the commercial breaks. You see how easy that was? Why wasn't this being done 2 months ago? We got 2 out of 3 falls ruined. We got gauntlet matches ruined. We got fucking elimination matches ruined. Look at how easy it was to avoid a instance with your edict on this show. And it makes for a lot smoother of a show, and it's less blatant as well. So again, I can't shit on that. What I did do is shit all over this match on social media before Monday Night Raw went live. I asked, plain and simply, why this match was happening. This is lazy booking. This goes right back to what I stated in the beginning, folks. This was lazy booking. In no way, shape, or form should you have 2 matches, 2 of your marquee matches on Sunday night, being represented in the same match with the same competitors in a tag team situation. This did not make any sense whatsoever. Becky Lynch is the Raw Women's Champion. She's teaming up with Charlotte Flair. Both of these women hate each other. Hate each other. There's no reason why you're teaming these 2 together. That's number 1. Number 2, Natalia and Becky Lynch are on opposite teams. Why would you want to give away whatever these 2 are planning on doing now? Why would you want to give it away now instead of Sunday? Number 3, and the biggest, what the fuck of them all, Charlotte and Trish Stratus. Why was Trish Stratus on this show? Why was there a need for Trish Stratus on this show? What possessed you to put Charlotte Flair and Trish Stratus on opposite teams in the same match 7 days before SummerSlam? You do realize that that is idiotic booking. Whoever booked this match should be terminated immediately. Whoever okayed this should step away and never do anything wrestling related as far as creative ever again. This is absolutely ridiculous just by looking at it. Now you go back to SmackDown Live. Once in a lifetime. First time ever, right? This dream match. Why would you want to give the illusion of this dream match away 7 days before the pay-per-view? Why would you want to kill all the anticipation for what they're going to do in the ring together for a waste of an episode of Monday Night Raw? Now you see why I bitch and I nitpick. This is not good creative writing. It's not. Now WWE weasel themselves out of this. They weasel themselves out of it to a point where I'm not going to completely shit on it. The match meant nothing. The match, basically, by the end of it, only confirm my thoughts. It should have never happened to begin with. But Trish Stratus was merely used here as a way for WWE to garner some late viewers to Monday Night Raw. Oh, look, Trish Stratus is in the building. Oh, look, Trish Stratus is wrestling on Monday Night Raw. They wanted to hang their hat on some late viewership into Monday Night Raw during that first hour. So they figured they would use Trish's name to kind of pad that on Monday Night Raw. Meanwhile, she didn't even step in the ring. People on social media were telling me, JD, WWE booked her in this match to wipe off the ring rust. What ring rust? What wiping off of the ring rust? She didn't even get in the fucking ring. She didn't even get a tag. She didn't throw one punch or deliver one wrestling maneuver. So what ring rust did she wipe off on Monday Night Raw? Which goes back to what I originally stated. Why the fuck was she even here? I don't want to see anything from this woman until Sunday night. Now, like I said, WWE weasel themselves out of a predicament here because I was thinking, on top of all this, well, who the fuck is going to lose this match? You can't have Becky lose. She's the Raw Women's Champion. You can't have Charlotte lose because she's going up against Trish. Trish is certainly not losing. And Natalia can't lose because she's the challenger for the Raw Women's Champion. So who the fuck is going to lose this match? WWE did something that I didn't think was even possible. They used their brain. At the end of this thing, we had Natalia and Trish win because of DQ. Now, Charlotte knocked over Becky Lynch. She leveled Becky Lynch and wanted to leave the ring, and she stood on the ramp. She was leaving Becky Lynch high and dry in this match. This made Natalia put on the sharpshooter. She seen an opening, put on the sharpshooter, dragged Becky to the middle of the ring. Becky fought furiously to get to the rope, and Natty did not break the 5 count. The referee disqualified Natalia. And did I say Natty and Trish won? Charlotte and Becky won this by DQ because Natty did not relinquish the hold in time, and the referee disqualified both Natty and Trish. Now, at the end of this thing, Trish came in to get Natty off of Becky because she still wouldn't let go of the hold, and she shoved Trish into the turnbuckle, and she was very obsessed by just the entire situation and wanting to get her hands on Becky Lynch. So this was great. This ending just made the match even more a head-scratcher because it should have never happened, but at least Becky Lynch did not get pinned. She did not tap out. Charlotte didn't lose. Natty looked like a just beast, if you even want to call her that, because she didn't want to relinquish the hold, and she's just showing her anger towards Becky Lynch right now. And Trish was the innocent one in all this because she has Charlotte to worry about, and she was just doing the right thing, the Trish Stratus-like thing, in helping Becky here, because Natty was just very angry at the whole situation. So I thought that WWE managed to get an easy out here, and this was the right decision at the end of this tag team match. So I really can't shit on anything that happened. And you know what? Going into SmackDown Live, we do not need to see any of these women. This was it. I guarantee you we'll get Charlotte and some form of Trish Stratus on Tuesday night. Being that she traveled to Raw, I don't see why she wouldn't travel to SmackDown Live. But I would not get anything else on the show as far as Becky and Natty related. Charlotte, I wouldn't even do that. The match is sold. The match is selling. It's pretty much selling itself. So you don't need to take up another segment or two with this bullshit. You've already sold the match. It's already in people's minds. Move on and give TV time to somebody else who could certainly use it on SmackDown Live. But WWE managed to get themselves out of this predicament here on Monday Night Raw. Moving on into the next match. Andrade versus Rey Mysterio. This was awesome. I would probably say, out of all the matches that they've had, this was their best match to date. And that includes all the SmackDown Live matches that they had just a couple of months back. This was awesome. I don't know why WWE is not pushing their mid-card the way that they should be pushing their mid-card. I even tagged, and I don't tag anybody on social media, I tagged both Andrade and Rey Mysterio along with WWE after this match was over. This is your mid-card. A mid-card that has been decimated and disrespected and treated like shit over years and years and years of abuse. Nobody has ever given the time of day to properly book a WWE mid-card. They don't. They don't find it to be important, and they take it for granted. There's no way WWE, with the amount of talent, the ungodly talent that they have on this mid-card, on both Raw and SmackDown, how this cannot be an every week thing. And the fucked up thing is, this match was being fought over absolutely nothing but Rey Mysterio's mask. Because Rey Mysterio felt disrespected that Andrade tried to take the mask off of him last week. In fact, he did take the mask off of Rey Mysterio last week, and Andrade celebrated as if he just won a championship. Imagine if there was a championship on the line. Imagine if these guys had any credibility for themselves and any momentum for themselves, and a championship was on the line, and this was in the main event of Monday Night Raw. I don't know why that can't be. I don't know why we aren't seeing that right now. That needs to be done. This needs to be. This match, it's not the greatest match you're going to see. It was great for Monday Night Raw standards, but as far as what you're doing with the mid-card, this needs to be a starting point for how you're booking your mid-card. Because you have too much talent to just let go to waste. And this is the type of shit we need to be seeing every single week on Monday Night Raw. There was a instance in this thing where they went to commercial during the match, and Andrade landed brutally on the outside. He took a hard landing on the outside. Rey Mysterio then slid underneath the rope and did a sunset flip bomb into the barricade. Then they went to commercial. That was really awesome. Fans are going crazy. Pittsburgh was terrible all night. They were most excited about this match, and rightfully so, because this was the best thing on the entire show. Fans chanted 619. Andrade caught Rey going for a springboard. Rey countered with a crucifix driver for a 2 count. Just several seconds later, Rey Mysterio hit a 619. Zelina slowed Rey Mysterio down, and as he climbed the top rope, she interfered. Andrade then lifted his knee on top of Rey, and when he came off the top rope for the splash, he lifted his knees up, hit Rey with the knees in the splash. Rey then surprised Andrade with a small package for a 2 count, which I thought was the ending of the match. Andrade came right back with a suplex attempt, but Rey got out of it. Andrade powerbombed Rey for a near fall and then went for his mask. He went for his mask again. The referee tried to grab Andrade and pull him off of Rey Mysterio. As the referee got into Andrade's face and finally pulled him off of Rey Mysterio, he was scolding Andrade. Zelina Vega snapped Rey Mysterio's neck over the middle rope. Andrade then seen an opening to deliver his hammerlock DDT for the win. This was awesome. We've seen all the typical bells and whistles in a Rey Mysterio versus Andrade match. We've seen the reverse Rana. We've seen the Panama Sunrise, the Canadian Destroyer. We've seen all that stuff in this match. Rey Mysterio delivered a beautiful code red to Andrade. Everything that you expect from these guys, it was in this match, plus some. Crowd was into it. Really fun stuff here. They work unbelievably well together. Andrade is at his best when he's in a match with Rey Mysterio, and Rey Mysterio is at his best when he's in a match with Andrade. They work so fluidly together. It is like fucking magic. Again, this needs to be done every single week. Not only with these two guys, Aleister Black, Buddy Murphy, and everybody else that you're not utilizing in the mid-card. Shinsuke Nakamura, Ali, Cedric Alexander, Drew McIntyre. There's no reason why your mid-card should be non-existent and unimportant. Again, use this as a platform and a starting point to give us this type of shit on Monday night. You're going to need to. Because when TNT has AEW on Wednesdays, you're going to be seeing this type of shit every single week. And then when you think back to Monday Night Raw and what they're doing, they'll be a step behind. WWE needs to get with the program. AEW is going to be delivering this type of action every week. So does WWE. We went to the 24/7 garbage. WWE tweeted out that you don't want to miss this. You got Maria Kanellis visiting her gynecologist with the 24/7 title. I wonder what this means. This was awful, folks. And the fact that WWE did this in very minimal time tonight saved us from a complete embarrassment. I tweeted out, no, I don't want to watch this. And I think this is some of the most embarrassing shit that the company has ever done. Nice try, though. Nice try, though. I got all the elitists and I got all the apologists on social media coming to WWE's aid as if they got fucking tens of thousands of stock in the company. Oh, this guy, all he does is complain. Oh, this guy is so unhappy. Oh, this guy watches, but he's always the first one to watch every single week. Why does he watch it if he's so unhappy? Hi! I'm on YouTube. I do this for a living. I am here to tell you guys what should not be on the show, what is good and what is bad. I am here to open your eyes just a little bit more every single week. And I'm damn good at what I do. So next time, maybe do your research. But you know of me anyway because this guy is always in the comment section, or this guy is always in the tweet, or this guy is always complaining. Blow me. Mike Kanellis and Maria Kanellis, earlier today at 2 p.m. Sure. Because some gynecologist office is going to allow this fucking embarrassing circus of a title into their offices while other people are dealing with more mature and real-life situations. So, they're at the OBGYN in the waiting room. Maria says Mike has one job: to protect her. Protect her unborn child, and most importantly, my 24/7 championship. Mike then promised he wouldn't let her down. That'll be the day, she said. Mike looked dejected and grabbed a magazine. Maria was called into the office. Mike was just sitting there continuing to read his magazine because he wanted nothing to do with his wife at this moment. Maria told him, "What are you doing? Get up." And he got up like a good little pussy, and he followed his wife into the office. So the camera followed them into the exam room. Mike was massaging Maria. She was irritated and told him to stop because it was making her feel tense. Mike made out with her. That's what it says in the notes here. Maria leaned back and enjoyed the caressing. The doctor slapped Mike's back 3 times and then awarded him the 24/7 title. So he pretended to make out with his wife. He pretended to caress his wife in a very sexual and romantic way. And the doctor was actually the WWE NXT female referee disguised in a doctor's outfit. She had her referee uniform underneath. So when Mike went to go cover his wife and caress her and kiss her, very romantic, it was actually a pinfall. And he won the 24/7 championship from his wife. I don't know how anybody found this entertaining. In fact, I thought it was fucking stupid. So Mike leaves the office. He goes back into the waiting room. And somebody, clear as day, who was dressed as R-Truth. He was dressed as a woman in some big moo-moo. He was there reading a magazine. And then he stands up. And Mike asks him, "You followed us all the way to the OBGYN?" And then R-Truth says, "You have something that belongs to me. You have my baby." And then he pretends like his water breaks. He pulls out a doll from underneath his moo-moo. He throws it at Mike Kanellis. He's fucking standing there frantically trying to grab the baby. R-Truth rolls him up, pins him, and wins the 24/7 championship. Carmella was there disguised as well, dressed as a guy in flannel, and they ran out as R-Truth piggybacked Carmella on his back and left the office. When will it end? This was awful. Absolutely awful. Charlie Caruso says, "I can't believe we just saw the 24/7 title change hands twice in the OBGYN office." I don't know who found this funny. The more that this shit makes the show, it makes the shows worse every single week. So Charlie Caruso was interviewing Becky about Natalia. She says Becky is going to take advantage in Natalia's hometown. She will have home field advantage, but she's going to take advantage of Natalia at SummerSlam. Becky says she hopes the whole Hart family is there to see her lose, all 87 members of them. She said she has let Canada down her whole career, so why stop now? She said Natalia complains that the machine has not gotten behind. She complains. Well, the machine has not gotten behind Natalia, but she said Natalia complains that the machine has gotten behind Becky, but not her. And Becky said she gave them no choice but to fall into line. I fought and I won. She said she gave them no option but to highlight what she was doing. She said she's not walking around like a good girl hoping everyone likes her and doesn't fire her. She said while she's out in the ring changing the business, Natalia was on a reality show changing her bikini, which is true. Natalia was on Instagram. Becky said she is the one thing her career is missing, and in Toronto, she's going to give her people a new hero. Caruso then threw it to Sarah Schreiber with Natalia, who gave a response. Natalia said that the sharpshooter tonight was just a small sample of what she's going to give her on Sunday when she beats her. She said Becky could break her arm and she still wouldn't tap. Boring. Natalia should have been a little bit more fired up after everything that Becky Lynch stated, but she was not. By the way, if you guys have not seen the news about the reveal, Becky Lynch and Roman Reigns are on the cover of WWE 2K20. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Let me go out and pre-order 7 of them. Hour 2. This is where things started to fall completely apart from Monday Night Raw. Heyman asked if Seth was supposed to be the Beast Slayer, the Conqueror's Conqueror, the one man who had Brock Lesnar's number, and the architect of the arson that would burn down Suplex City. Paul, I'm going to have to stop you there, man. You're making Rollins sound a little bit too cool for what he is right now. The architect of arson? He's not that cool. Said the answer to all of these questions is in a video. So he pointed to the big screen and they replayed the big angle in which he got decimated last week on Monday Night Raw. They showed back to live TV. Lesnar was smiling. Heyman says he dropped to his knees last week and begged a merciful beast to show some mercy on Seth Rollins. Said he knew in his heart that what WWE needed was a new hero. He said the beating last week was borderline criminal. His show is borderline criminal. The fact that Buddy Murphy has not had a match on live television since WrestleMania is downright criminal. He said he found out insider info moments ago that Seth is in the building. Fans cheered. Not really too much, but they ended up cheering lightly. Now, Brock acted like he wasn't the least bit concerned, because why would he? Seth Rollins is a pussy, and he has been portrayed as one. Now, he scolded the fans for cheering Seth on, and Seth is going to go down in a blaze of glory. He said Seth has more balls than brains. Seth's music then played. Lesnar smiled. Seth limped to the ring with a chair. Now, he was limping very gingerly. He was as if he was an extra on The Walking Dead, was Seth Rollins. That's the way he walked to the ring. Just imagine one of the fucking zombies out in the fields looking for food. That's exactly what Seth Rollins walked like when he walked to the ring here on Monday Night Raw. Now, what did this do? So we had him limp out to the ring with the chair, clearly selling his injuries. At least they got that right. At least they got Rollins selling his injuries after last week, because if he didn't, then I don't think anybody was going to fucking believe in this storyline at all. And very minimal right now do people care about this overall storyline. So, Heyman taunted Seth by holding up the Universal title. Seth climbed onto the ring apron, got into the ring, and miraculously, he was all healed. Because he charged at Brock Lesnar with the chair as if he wasn't injured at all. He did all that limping, and then when he got in the ring, he made a beeline right for Brock Lesnar. He must not be too hurt there, champ. So, at the end of this thing, Lesnar kicked him All he had to do was kick him in the ribs, and that was it. Lesnar toyed with Seth. Lesnar hit Seth with the chair. He continued to just throw him around, and he gave him an F5, stood over him, holding the Universal title. There was not 1 ounce of emotion from anybody in Pittsburgh with this angle. Not one fucking person cared. It was as if they were attending Mass on Sunday morning. That's how quiet they were. There was absolutely no emotion for Seth Rollins here getting beat down by Brock Lesnar. There was no emotion for Brock Lesnar once again taking advantage of Seth Rollins after last week from the crowd either. No one gave a shit. No one gave a shit. Now, there was a few burn it down chants. There were a few let's go Rollins chants. There were some people behind Seth Rollins. But the biggest thing is, folks, there was so much indifference. There was so much in this overall storyline, in this segment, that it was downright fucking scary. It was scary how we went, and I did this in chronological order on Sunday's show. If you guys want to go back and watch why Seth Rollins is not cool and how WWE is absolutely to blame in how Rollins is just one of those guys that has fallen from grace. That's exactly what we got here. Rollins in the beginning of 2018 up until the spring of 2018 was the best thing in WWE. Monday Night Rollins was hot. He was the Intercontinental Champion. He owned this company and he took them by the balls. Then they killed him. They made him a shadow player in the whole Roman agenda. The IC title reign was completely garbage. They had Ziggler win the championship. Then they flip-flopped the title between Seth and Ziggler back and forth. Ambrose made his return in a very lukewarm fashion. They ruined his, return by announcing he would be at SummerSlam when they should have never announced Dean Ambrose. Then they made them both, Ambrose and Rollins, play second fiddle to Roman again. Then the leukemia happened. Then Ambrose indifference came. Then the heel turn came. And everything went downhill. Everything. They tried desperately. They tried to have Rollins be the man. They gave him the Royal Rumble. Everybody was like, this is the right decision. No matter if it's predictable or not, he is the right man. The same storyline that we're seeing here, we've seen at WrestleMania. The same storyline that we're seeing here happened with Roman Reigns at WrestleMania and going into SummerSlam. The only difference is Roman got suspended for a week. Seth did not. The only difference is Roman looked like a badass. Seth looked, and I don't believe I actually said that, Roman looked like a badass, even though it was forced, and it was not genuine whatsoever. Roman looks somewhat like a badass, and Rollins looks like a pussy. Rollins looks like someone who is absolutely in desperate need of a fucking Kleenex. Cry me a river, Rollins. That's his new name. They ruined it. They took him out of the Royal Rumble. They gave him a title reign. They had him beat Lesnar at WrestleMania. Baron Corbin. Then he's the man's man. Which, in my eyes, the man's bitch is what Seth Rollins became. He was thrown to the agenda. He was sacrificed. And it did nothing but kill him. Didn't make Becky Lynch look any better. And it did absolutely nothing for Seth Rollins. Now look at him. Lesnar was like, this pathetic mess. This is so beneath me. That's the way he acted. He walked out of the ring. He did one of these hand flicks. The fuck is this shit? This is my challenger at SummerSlam? Rollins takes the microphone. And he said, it's gotten to a point where he's had to ask himself if this is worth it. He milked the moment. Then said, when you love something so much, you do anything to protect it and keep it safe, even if that leads you to getting beaten up week after week. He said for him the answer is yes. No pop. Absolute silence while Rollins is cutting this promo. He said, this is all he has. He said every second of every day, this is all he ever wanted and all he's got. He said he will be at SummerSlam and he will beat Brock Lesnar. I guarantee it. Not one single ounce of emotion came from this Pittsburgh audience in this promo for Seth Rollins. Not only did WWE do everything that I just played out for you to ruin Seth Rollins, this was the icing on the cake. This all but solidified that Rollins is dead. Seth Rollins, the architect, is dead. Not only did WWE make him look like a blithering idiot by coming out, because after last week, in the position and how he feels this week, why would you go out there and get your ass handed to you again after the man in Brock Lesnar made you spit up blood? After he fucking seized an ambulance to pull you out and beat the shit out of you again right in front of the EMTs. Why would you go into the ring and ask for more, knowing that you are not capable of even standing on your own 2 feet? What did this prove? Rollins is an idiot. WWE is desperately trying to get you to put your emotion into Seth Rollins. And like I mentioned last week, they need to be very careful with this. You're treading Roman Reigns territory with this shit. You're putting so much now in us trying to sympathize with Rollins, and it's actually backfiring on you. And if you don't see that, I don't know what to tell you. Go get glasses. Go clean your fucking contact lenses. This is backfiring on WWE. I don't know what their plan is here, but I know as far as your Universal Championship, as far as your main event of a 6-hour show on Sunday night, everyone should be a little bit more interested in what they're doing here. No one is interested at all. I am not interested in this whatsoever. I couldn't give a shit if he lost. I couldn't give a shit if he won. In fact, I want Brock Lesnar to win. I want Lesnar to put Rollins out of his misery. I don't even think a heel turn at this point is even worth it. I don't even think that is enough to save the damage that WWE has done on Seth Rollins. I've never seen someone so quick outside of Roman Reigns. Never seen someone so quick fall so hard and so fast after appointing him the man on Monday Night Raw. Rollins is dead. WWE has nobody to blame but themselves. The 2018 Intercontinental Champion Seth Rollins is looking at the 2019 pussified version of Seth Rollins, and he's having a good laugh over a nice cold beverage. Who the fuck is this? Seriously, I'm sending this out to WWE. If anybody is watching me, who the fuck is this? You think this fucking boo-hoo bullshit, oh, woe is me, I'm gonna be there, this is all I have, sympathize with Rollins, is what you think we want? No, the Rollins that we wanted is the one that you killed last year. I don't know who the fuck this is. This is a pussy version of Seth Rollins. And WWE, they don't know all the damage that they've done. They're just continuing to make him look worse and worse and worse. And what happens when he wins? If he wins the Universal Championship, what happens then? What happens then? When he wins the Universal Championship in a smart mark town like Toronto, who hasn't seen a pay-per-view since I don't know when, you think they're going to be cheering for, oh, this pussified version, woe is me, this is all I have, please stand with me, Seth Rollins? Or are they going to cheer on the fucking conqueror and the one who sheds blood in Brock Lesnar? Please tell me. Because if you think you know your audience, and you think that they're going for Seth Rollins, I'm afraid to tell you, you're horribly mistaken. People were chanting one more time for another F5 on Seth Rollins for Brock Lesnar. Dead. The architect, the fucking Monday Night Rollins, the only thing that WWE burned it down, the only thing WWE burned down is Rollins' WWE Monday Night Raw run. And I don't think anybody is going to want to go into this fucking city and try and refurbish and bring this city back to life. Dead. And WWE has nobody to blame but themselves. WWE has nobody to blame but themselves for killing the War Raiders. Who? The War Raiders. You know, Hanson and Rowe. Eric and Ivar. What? Dead. Absolutely dead. WWE killed these guys and nothing has even remotely come of this. You thought these guys were going to get over. I thought these guys were going to get over. Again, I don't understand. I keep repeating myself. How these guys put on two of the best matches that this company will see at the end of the year. In January and in April. And this is what we're getting from them is downright fucking insane. This is a sin. A sin that is punishable behind anything I've ever seen this company do before. This is punishable up to 25 years to life in prison type of shit. That's how bad this is. The War Raiders are absolutely fucking dead. And the fact that WWE continues to book them in these squash matches as if we don't know what the fuck they're capable of just tells me that WWE has no plans whatsoever for the War Raiders. And if they do by chance, I would be shocked. I don't even know who they went up against tonight. Jay Alexander and Eric Abraham was their names. One guy had a fucking afro like he was Shaft. He was absolutely destroyed. 1 minute, they won with Thor's hammer, and that was it. Angle, he was there because it's Pittsburgh and WWE has to trot out the fucking legends, you know. Angle's music played, and we had, before that, a Harley race video package, which the crowd chanted Harley for. Angle is there. Cedric made his ring entrance. Drew attacked him from behind because it was supposed to be Cedric Alexander and Drew McIntyre on Monday Night Raw. Now, before this, I have to mention, because this was the lead-in for this match, Caruso tried to interview Kurt Angle. He walked up to her smiling in his referee shirt because he was the special guest referee in this thing. He gave a shout-out to Pittsburgh. Then the Street Profits weaseled themselves into frame, wearing the tag team titles of NXT. They introduced themselves to Angle. They talked about Angle's 3 eyes. They then beatboxed to Angle's theme song and pulled out some milk from a cooler that they brought into the arena with them. Angle said, whoa. I promised my wife I wouldn't do anything too crazy. Now, they pulled out a carton of Horizon organic milk, and they started to pour Kurt Angle some milk shots. Whoa! I told my wife I wasn't going too crazy over here. You gotta love Kurt Angle's sense of humor and his comedic timing. I love it. I thought that was great. Now, Montez Ford, I believe it was Montez Ford, says, are we talking to Kurt Angle or are we talking to Mark Kanellis? Is what he said. Not Mike Kanellis. Mark Kanellis. Not the only botch done tonight on Monday Night Raw. We'll get to that in a second. Angle gave in and said, okay, just one. And in walked Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre, you know, the guy who wants to eviscerate and decimate and masturbate. Masturbate! Decimate! And anything other than fucking just go out there and cut a regular promo. Masturbate, castrate, decimate, CM Punk! Am I watching a fucking Sean's View promo? Or Drew McIntyre promo? Anyway. He comes in, he says he couldn't help but overhear the hilarity that he heard, and he was concerned with his sides, he was concerned that his sides were going to split because it was so humorous. Ha 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 ha, right? He reminded Kurt that he hasn't forgotten what happened the last time they were in the ring together, and he wanted Kurt to call it right down the middle. You remember the last time I was in the ring with you, Kurt? I made you tap out to your own submission move, the ankle lock. I humbled you on Monday Night Raw. He then asked the Profits if they saw him beat Angle. He said if Angle steps out of line, he'll take his boot and crack his skull open. Oh, it's true. It's damn true. Now, Drew McIntyre sounded a little bit more humanized here, and he didn't go out there using words like eviscerate and masturbate and decimate and castrate and anything 8 related. Sounded a little bit more human here. Thank God. So clearly this all led to Angle, again, having a role in this thing. He was a special guest referee. And this match did not even take place because Drew McIntyre attacked Cedric Alexander on the ramp. I'm sure we'll get it at SummerSlam because WWE needs to add another fucking match to this thing, making it 16 in total, I'm sure. So we had Cedric come down the ramp. He was attacked by Drew McIntyre. Cedric then came back with a tornado DDT off the barricade onto the floor, and then all of a sudden the lights went out, and Bray Wyatt showed up in the ring as The Fiend, and he put Angle in the mandible claw and went to commercial. The screen went black, and they went to commercial. So we got The Fiend continuing to go after legends like Mick Foley and Kurt Angle, and I'm not sure what this means. I hope to God that this doesn't mean that Kurt Angle's coming out of retirement to fight a Bray Wyatt sometime in the future. I hope that this doesn't mean Mick Foley's coming out of retirement to fight Bray Wyatt. But the fact that he used the mandible claw is a great thing, because I think it's a great thing to take a move like the mandible claw and then pass it down, especially when someone is not utilizing the same type of gimmick, but it's in the same vein of gimmick that Mankind is. Bray Wyatt is on his way to being the 2019 version of Mankind, and I think that's awesome. I can't wait to see what they do with him at SummerSlam. This is probably the only thing that I'm most intrigued about on Sunday night. What his theme music's going to be, how his ring entrance is going to be, what it's going to look like, and how he actually wrestles. If he's wrestling with the mask, if he's wrestling without the mask. I want to see it all. I want to be involved with this entire Bray Wyatt Fiend entrance at SummerSlam. I thought this was awesome. I'm happy that he has gifted the mandible claw, Mick Foley did, to Bray Wyatt, and the fact that he's using it is a good sign that it's going to be a regular thing, because there were reports that Vince McMahon was not allowing legends to pass down moves to current superstars. He didn't want any current superstars utilizing legends finishing moves or legends moves. He wanted everything to be, done organically. He wanted them to come up with their own moves. He wanted them to stand out of the legend's shadow, which is appreciated. That's a good thing. I actually agree with Vince McMahon on that. But this, being that Bray Wyatt is towing that line with a lot of Mick Foley similarities, I think this is awesome. And this is one of the best decisions that WWE has done here for Bray Wyatt, having him take control of the mandible claw. The New Day, Xavier Woods and Big E, no Kofi, versus the OC, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. They came out with AJ Styles. Carl Anderson was Carl Anderson, but Luke Gallows looked very different. He looked like his old New Japan days. He had the eyeliner and he had the war paint on. He looked great. He looked legit for the first time in many, many, many years. And you can see that WWE is going for an old school take on the OC. They're going for an old school take on the Club and AJ Styles. Don't really sit here feeling too fond of them being tag team champions, because I know it was done for political reasons. And I really can't get over the fact that they simply gave them the titles because they signed a 5-year deal and the Revival did not sign a new contract extension yet. Thus, the Revival are no longer Raw Tag Team Champions and the OC are. Because who were the good little boys who sat down with Vince McMahon and became slaves for the next 5 years? So we'll see how long this lasts. All done politically, folks. All done politically. But they came out looking great. I love their new look. I love their new logo. It looks legit. I really appreciate that. Now, this was supposed to be a tag team match between the OC and the New Day. This was champion versus champion, and I don't know why. Why you're booking a champion versus champion match with absolutely no build, with no prior knowledge, as if it means absolutely nothing in the world. They started this thing off as a Raw Tag Team Champion versus a SmackDown Tag Team Champion. When was this decision made? Why was this made? Do the Tag Team Championships mean this little to you? And at this point, I didn't know what was going on, because this was the rumored match for SummerSlam. It still might be the rumored match for SummerSlam, which raises the point. With the lack of tag teams in the WWE Tag Team division as a whole, does this mean that we're getting unified titles? Is WWE contemplating the ideas of unified titles? Even with a dedicated brand split. I mentioned this back in 2016. I have not changed my stance on this. Not whatsoever. In a perfect world, WWE would have made everything separate. But they don't. They don't, nor will they. They don't have enough teams on the main roster. They don't have enough credible teams on the main roster to do separate tag team rosters on Raw and SmackDown. If the wild card rule is ending, I pose what I mentioned back in 2016 with that draft review video. You guys know I said it. I stick to my guns now in 2019. You can make dedicated brand split. You can make dedicated rosters. The main event, the Universal title, the WWE title on both shows, the Intercontinental title, and the United States title on both shows. Main event and mid-card, you could separate and make beastly. Beastly. I even mentioned with the tag teams, include the women. Because at that point, at least you're letting us know that you're giving us unified champions in both the women's and the men's tag team divisions, or the men's tag team divisions and the women's divisions. Now, with the women's tag team titles, they're floating between both shows anyway. So why not make the women appear on both shows? The tag team division, it would give you guys extra time to fill those segments on both SmackDown and Raw. Raw's a 3-hour show. It's going to be a 3-hour show for the foreseeable future. If you don't have a wild card rule and you can't utilize an Andrade or an Aleister Black or a Roman Reigns or a Rey Mysterio or a Seth Rollins or AJ Styles, and they're going to be dedicated to their shows and their shows only, an extension of the wild card rule without actually having it kill the fucking shows is to unify the titles at SummerSlam in this concept and have them be a float between Raw and SmackDown. Because you don't have enough teams to dedicate, separate rosters to both of these shows. Who do you got? You got the New Day, you got the Club, you got the Revival. The Usos are going to be going away for a little bit because of Jimmy Uso's arrest and him getting better and making himself healthy again. So you got the Club, the OC, you got the Revival, you got the New Day, you got Heavy Machinery. Who else you got? You got the War Raiders. That's 5. Where's AOP? You got Zack Ryder and Hawkins. Where are they? Bryan and Rowan aren't a tag team anymore. Who else is there? You don't have enough. You got the Street Profits, but they're more of a backstage presence than anything. This is what's going to make the wild card rule and the transition from eliminating that much easier. It's as if you have a mini wild card rule, but you have a unified championship spread out between both shows. I think it's great. And I said that back in 2016, and I know for a fact it would work now. As long as every other aspect of these shows remain separate with their own identity. There's no one in the main event and no one in the mid-card that can transition between Raw and SmackDown back and forth. So this is what I pose here. This is what I want to say. Because why this match was scheduled to be a champion versus champion with no knowledge beforehand is sad and pathetic. You cannot do that and then expect people to think that these titles are meaningful and important. Because something like this should be a big deal. And seriously, what happens when Survivor Series comes around? What happens when Survivor Series comes around and you have the Raw SmackDown tag team title match, or the tag team match, the Raw titles versus the SmackDown titles, and it's the same match? It's not going to mean anything. It's not going to mean anything. You've made it mean nothing. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. And do what I say. I've said it then, I say it now. It will work, and you'll be better off for it. Raw will be better off for it, and SmackDown will be better off for it. Believe me. So, after this thing, we had Ricochet come down and make the save because AJ Styles interfered. Ricochet did his fancy, head scissor takedown into the kip up, into the drop kick. So we got a 6-man tag here, and the OC win in 7 minutes. This was fairly easy. They won with a magic killer on Xavier Woods. So the SmackDown Live Tag Team titles fell to the OC. It's amazing, I know. These guys were losers about a year ago for the last 3 years. And now here they are beating the SmackDown Live Tag Team Champions on Monday Night Raw clean in a 6-man tag with their finishing move. Unbelievable. How the times have changed, folks. You see what happens when you're good boys and you accept a 5-year deal from Satan himself? Awesome. Good things happen to those who wait, I guess. Hour 3. We'll get into Hour 3. I got to shout out my friends over at Audible, man. audibletrial.com/offthescript. Make sure you guys check out Audible. 30 days free of their service and one free audiobook of your choice. You guys can easily choose any of these options available to you, plus 200,000 other choices to choose from. One audiobook is yours for free, and the best part is, if you guys feel like Audible's not for you, you guys can cancel at any time in that 30 days and still get to keep your audiobook for free. audibletrial.com/offthescript, compatible with iPhone and Android devices. You guys know what to do, man. Head up Audible and support Off the Script.
Reggie? Scooby-Doo? Scooby Snacks?
We got Samoa Joe here, talking about the Scooby-Doo murder mystery here of Roman Reigns. Samoa Joe starts hour 3 with Scooby Snacks, and he wanted to lure Roman Reigns to the ring. Finally, he was going to get what he wanted, and he was going to stop the show until he got Roman Reigns face to face, with Roman apologizing for what happened and what he said in regards to this incident on SmackDown Live. Roman Reigns did not come out, folks. Roman Reigns did not come out. No apology, no entrance by Roman, no response. Joe says they'll play it Roman's way. Joe grabbed the chair, threw it into the ring, sat on it. Ladies and gentlemen, Raw is now officially shut down until Roman Reigns walks down here and apologizes to me in person. Said he was giving Roman the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Nothing happened. He still stood there. He sat there. Nothing happened. Fans were chanting CM Punk. I rolled my eyes because I hate it. Now I hate it. Every time they chant CM Punk when they get bored, I fucking hate it. Says he has all day and he'll keep everyone waiting all night. I much rather watch Samoa Joe in the ring for the last hour than anything else that happened on this show. We're holding it all up for you, he said. He told the fans not to be upset. He said the reason that they're all sitting on their hands is because Roman is too much of a coward to apologize. So Joe bent over and then talked to a worker at ringside, and he said Reigns has finally arrived in the arena. So let me get this straight. Roman Reigns, who is a part of the Raw roster, who is supposed to be there earlier in the day to be there for the show. He shows up at 10 p.m. when he wants, casually very late. Who is Roman Reigns and why is he showing up to the arena at 10 p.m.? Nobody knows. So we see Joe leave the ring after this worker by ringside told him that Roman was just entering the building. He was just parking his car. He's outside in the parking lot. So Joe walked to the parking lot and began yelling as a car drove up. Now is the time, Oos! Now is the time! Starts mentioning Oos. He's like, I waited for you all night. So Reigns steps out of a black Chevy. Suddenly, a car sped up to Reigns. As he stepped out of the car, Reigns leapt back into the car, and the car rammed into the side of Roman Reigns' Chevy. Joe looked completely stunned at this point. Now, clearly, this was one of Kevin Dunn's magic acts. There was no car, legitimately, that was speeding at Roman Reigns. He dove into the car, and then there was a quick cut and transition, and then this car, which was a Hyundai Sonata, folks, rammed into the side of Roman Reigns' black Chevy, and Samoa Joe looked concerned. Samoa Joe did not look like a heel in this moment. He continued to yell at Roman Reigns, stay down, and then offered to help. Someone in the instance here to get Roman help. He was asking for medical. He was asking for anybody to come and get here to help Roman. At the end of this, that's all we got. So what we got was Roman diving back into the car. This car then was shown speeding off, and Triple H was there to check in on Roman Reigns. That was it. So we got all this happening, and Roman Reigns is there with Samoa Joe by his side. Now, if WWE really wanted to play this up, they really got everybody's attention tonight because this was a vehicular fucking murder attempt, which is great. And believe me, it wasn't me. It wasn't my old self fucking 5 years ago in the spirit behind the fucking wheel. It was not me. I have nothing to do with it, fucking cretins. Now, there's a few interesting things here. If WWE is really a sucker for attention to detail, this was a Hyundai Sonata with tinted windows. If this was Daniel Bryan, he would not be driving a Hyundai Sonata. He'd be driving a fucking Prius, because he mentioned Prius in a promo a couple of months back. Or he would be driving some sort of fucking hybrid or electric car. Something. He would not be driving a Hyundai Sonata gas-guzzling machine. Sports car. Would not be doing that. So if they wanted Daniel Bryan to be a part of this whole mystery, then the attention to detail is completely lazy and illogical. Because that does not signal Daniel Bryan. Now, it could be anybody. It could be anybody. It could be Shane McMahon. It could be Buddy Murphy. It could be Sami Zayn. I even had fucking nightmares this night when I was thinking about who it could be. Conveniently, we have not seen Baron Corbin. We have not seen Baron Corbin since his loss to Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch with Lacey Evans as his partner. Could it be Baron Corbin behind the wheel? Because if they do go to a dedicated brand split, that would wipe out Baron Corbin. Honestly, it would wipe out anybody on Monday Night Raw side, unless they want to just make the rules a free-for-all and have whoever is attacking Roman Reigns end up on SmackDown Live, because Roman Reigns is a SmackDown superstar. I don't know who it could be. It might end up being Daniel Bryan with the illogical booking of him driving a fucking gas guzzler. I don't know. Another thing here is, minus the attention to detail, because I'm not sure if WWE is even thinking about that. I would. Another thing to pay attention here is, Samoa Joe dropped the word oos. He was dropping, that line when referencing Roman Reigns. Oos. I've been waiting for you all night, oos. Where have you been, oos? The Samoan connection is there. And by the way, it wasn't Jimmy Uso who was driving the car. For all you fucking clowns down in the comment section, I know someone's going to be always Jimmy Uso on another one of his fucking binge drinking escapades. No, it wasn't Jimmy Uso. I'm not going to make that fucking joke. All right. Another thing here is Samoa Joe and Roman Reigns and a possible pairing. Samoa Joe showed babyface-like tendencies here. Could this be a transition of Samoa Joe from heel to babyface? Would it actually be welcomed? Because Samoa Joe as a heel has been absolutely dead in the water, with no sign of life. He's been dead. He has no credibility. He has no momentum. WWE books him as a fucking loser. He's lost more matches than he's won this year. Absolutely. Could this be Samoa Joe turning over a new leaf, being a badass babyface, joining Roman Reigns, and becoming a group with Roman Reigns, with the Usos? Could we be getting a Samoan stable with Roman Reigns, Samoa Joe, and the Usos on WWE television? I think that sounds fantastic. And I honestly think, out of everybody in this, Samoa Joe needs it more. Because if Roman Reigns wants to look cool, I think he'll look a lot cooler standing next to Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe wants any type of credibility and momentum. Standing next to Roman Reigns is the guy that you want to stand next to. I think it works. Even if it's not the Usos. Roman and Joe pairing? That's a tag team I could get behind. I might actually like Roman Reigns if he's paired with a badass babyface in Samoa Joe. And everybody loves Samoa Joe anyway. Samoa Joe has babyface tendencies written all over him. People chant his name during his theme music. So absolutely, Samoa Joe could play a babyface. It's all up to WWE to actually put it into motion, because I know for a fact that that man needs some sort of fucking help on these shows, because right now, like I said, he is dead in the water. I hope so. I'd like to see it. So after tonight, it's definitely interesting based on that aspect. Is Joe going to turn over a new leaf? Is he siding with Roman Reigns? Is he now going to aid in this help, in this mystery, to find who tried to kill Roman Reigns tonight? Or it could be just a complete setup and Samoa Joe is aiding the person involved here behind the wheel who tried to kill Roman Reigns with a vehicular fucking incident tonight on Monday Night Raw. I don't know. I'd much rather go for a Samoan group or a Samoan stable with all four guys. But if it ends up being Joe and Reigns, I'll take that too. because Reigns and Joe could be a badass fucking pairing that could lead to some fun matches down the line with some credible tag teams in WWE. So we'll see what happens. The Iconics, Peyton Royce and Billie Kay versus the Kabuki Warriors with Paige versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross versus Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. Elimination match for the women's tag team titles. This one sucked. The Iconics, the Moronics, the Idiotics, they lost. They were the first team eliminated. We were guaranteed new champions. And I will mention them again at the end, but they are no longer the tag team champions. Good riddance. Goodbye. Dead. Never again. Never again will they be tag team champions. So, this one came down to Bliss and Cross versus the Kabuki Warriors. Now, Asuka tapped out Mandy Rose with the Asuka lock. So that was that. Came down to Bliss and Cross versus the Kabuki Warriors. This one went to Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, which I wasn't surprised by whatsoever. And it's just hilarious how Alexa Bliss, of all people, pins Kairi Sane to win the tag team championships. Alexa Bliss did nothing in this match worthy of becoming a tag team champion. She evaded, she ran away, she tagged in and then quickly tagged out. She took a bump here and there. She took Kairi Sane's insane elbow into the corner, right? She took a couple of neck breakers. Oh my God, that's an easy day's work. That's a hard day's work for Alexa Bliss. 3 moves. Meanwhile, she had Nikki Cross do most of the fucking work. She tags in. This one, I was not surprised. I'm not even angry at this. I find this to be fucking comical. Alexa Bliss landed Twisted Bliss for the win. This is when Bliss drop-kicked Asuka from behind because Asuka was tied up in the ring apron because Nikki Cross on the outside went for Asuka. Asuka slid, and Nikki Cross captured her in the ring apron. Alexa Bliss, to take out Asuka completely so that she could do what she's got to do, drop-kicked Asuka while she was tied up in the ring apron. Kairi Sane's laying on the mat. She sucker-punched Kairi Sane, goes up top, imitates the elbow. I thought she was going to drop the insane elbow, but she dropped Twisted Bliss, and she wins the women's tag team titles. She's now a tag team champion, folks. This is nothing more than WWE continuing the blonde agenda. This is WWE continuing the blonde brigade in WWE because they get their dicks hard by seeing a blonde in WWE with little to no skill be better than everybody else, the actual wrestlers on the roster. And here's the fucking kicker, folks. This is how sad the team of Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross are. This is how sad of a performer Alexa Bliss really is. We all know the Iconics are fucking garbage. The Iconics got more offense and better looking offense in this match than Alexa Bliss did in the entirety of this match. How fucking sad is that I actually said that? That is awful. That is awful. Kairi Sane and Asuka deserve so much better. The fact that they don't care, and it's blatant that WWE does not care about Kairi Sane and Asuka. Why Kairi Sane was brought up to begin with, to be treated like this. Asuka came out and made their entrance with Kairi. First of all, the mashup of their theme music is fucking horrendous. You go from the pirate theme to Asuka's theme, to the pirate theme to Asuka's theme. That does not signify a tag team. I'm sorry. They got Asuka's Twitter handle wrong. Instead of Asuka, they did Io Shirai's Twitter handle. I don't know how much more of a fuck you, we don't care about Asuka you need, but there it is. They got Asuka's Twitter handle wrong during her ring entrance. I don't know what to tell you, folks. Someone in WWE that has the digits of Cody and Kenny and Tony and the Bucks, please pass them along to Kairi and Asuka. When these women's contracts are up, if this continues, when these women's contracts are up, I don't even know if WWE could do anything to fucking keep these women here. When their contracts are up, they are as good as gone. Because this is fucking embarrassing. Asuka has been treated like complete shit, and it's clear. If you don't see it, it's clear, folks. I'm not going to make any sexual reference with Alexa Bliss. We all know. I usually say it. I'm not going to say it here, but you see how much favoritism there is for WWE with the blondes over anybody else. Whether it's someone of a different skin color, whether it's someone of a different nationality. Anybody in WWE that is a blonde, you're going to get preferential treatment over an Asian or someone who is black. And that's what it is. Because other than that, who else is successful on WWE television? Who's successful on WWE television and who is treated as an afterthought and a fucking loser? Everybody that is of a different skin color and nationality. Meanwhile, the blondes who can't wrestle get everything handed to them. Everything handed to them. And you can see Charlotte materializing into someone I don't even recognize her. She's got so much plastic surgery. It's fucking ridiculous. It's sad. She don't even look like herself anymore. It is so fucking sad that this is WWE's mentality. They pretty much buried women's wrestling. You highlighted it. You highlighted it going into WrestleMania. You're highlighting it on fucking the video game cover. Becky Lynch is the first woman to be on a video game cover for WWE. No, she's not. She's not. Because we had other women. Trish Stratus. We had, I believe it was, who was it? Fucking, I believe it was Trish Stratus. It might have been Kelly. It might have been, who else was there? There was some other women during the Attitude Era that were on WWE video game covers during the GameCube era. You know? Bullshit. It's a cheap agenda that WWE just wants to shove down your throat. Really. It is awful. And this is just a stamp on the titles going from one team who are completely worthless to another team in which one half of this team now is one of the worst women's wrestlers in the entire world who is afraid to actually wrestle. It's sad. Those titles need to be burned and fucking buried once and for all. Absolutely worthless. One of the worst decisions that WWE did is create these titles because they mean absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing to WWE TV. Monday Night Raw closed with Miz and Miz TV. This one had about 7-8 minutes. And they replayed Ziggler kicking Michaels on SmackDown 2 weeks ago. Ziggler said he'd rather be a pariah any day of the week, doing what needs to get done than an ass-kissing clown like these guys. He says he's been stealing shows and carrying this company on his back. Oh, really? You've been carrying the company on your back? Were you carrying the company on your back while you were away for 6 months? I'd love to know, Dolph. Now, he says he's been stealing the shows and carrying the company on his back even when he wasn't supposed to for the last decade. He says he's the best thing to happen to pro wrestling since you lost your smile and you lost your balls, pointing to Miz and Michaels individually. He says he's the only legend in the ring, brother. Told Miz if he thinks he can beat him at SummerSlam, good luck. Says when he wins at SummerSlam, he'll finally get the adulation and appreciation he deserves by becoming a living, breathing legend. Yeah, maybe in WWE 2K20, but not in real life, Dolph. So, Miz soaked it up. Then he turned it to Michaels. Ziggler signed the contract without even looking at it, without even reading it. And I'm thinking, why are we getting a contract signing between The Miz and Dolph Ziggler? So right then and there, I knew this was like a bullshit fucking contract signing. Miz says, what's amazing is that this has been your MO since you've arrived. You poke, you prod, you push buttons, you call names. Says if he wants the adulation and appreciation, it's not the fans or wrestlers or legends who are to blame, it's you. He says he can't wait to get his hands on him the next night on Monday Night Raw. So Ziggler looked confused. Miz revealed that Ziggler didn't read the fine print in the contract. He says he'll have a SummerSlam moment, but it's not against me. And then Michaels then revealed that, don't look at me, it's not me either. So Goldberg's music played. Michael Cole acted all surprised. Goldberg walked out. He's here, yells Michael Cole. Goldberg entered, limping, because if you've seen his Instagram, he hurt himself, I believe, working out, and he was wrapped in white bandages, bleeding profusely through the bandages. I don't know what the fuck happened. Limping to the ring was Goldberg. So Goldberg yelled, Dolph, guess what, son? You're next. Sign the contract, and that was it. Dolph Ziggler walked up the ramp. He was met with a super kick by Shawn Michaels, and that's the way we go off the air. So WWE is making up for Saudi Arabia. Goldberg is being allowed to make up for Saudi Arabia. We all know why Goldberg is at SummerSlam, and him making up for that debacle that was the Undertaker match at Super Showdown is the only reason why. It's not because Goldberg wants to be back. It's not because Goldberg wants to be at SummerSlam. It's not because Dolph and Goldberg are going to have a 5-star classic and they want to tear the house down in Toronto. It's because Goldberg wants to rectify himself and he doesn't want one of his last matches to be a blemish like it was at Super Showdown. So Dolph is going to look like a loser. He's going to flop around. He's going to bump around. He's going to sell for Bill Goldberg. Spear, jackhammer. That's it. Walk out and SummerSlam for Goldberg ends in about 15 seconds. SummerSlam is awful. The build is awful. I'm not excited about anything, and this was just the cherry on top of the cake for SummerSlam's build. I could not give a shit. And Dolph acts surprised, and it was terrible. It's as if he was walking around without any fucking LTE service on his cell phone. Everybody and their fucking mother and their sister were talking about Goldberg showing up, but he acts surprised that it was Bill Goldberg. Listen, you mentioned his name 3 weeks in a row. Why wouldn't it be Bill Goldberg? I'm not excited about it whatsoever, and that is your SummerSlam build. Awful, lazy, boring, bland, unexciting. The biggest fraud of the summer. Your SummerSlam, folks, is taking place on Saturday night with Gargano and Cole. 2 out of 3 falls. I'm getting out of here. Thank you so very much, man. Follow me on social media at JD4MNY206, both on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Hit that thumbs up. Check the videos if you missed Off the Script this weekend. Ridge.com/script. Use code SCRIPT at checkout. Audibletrial.com/offthescript. You guys can get 30 days free and a free audiobook of your choice. And make sure you guys hit up Salrex. If you guys need any graphics, logos, banners, flyers, thumbnails, album covers, mixtape covers, t-shirt designs, YouTube channel revamps, he does it all. He's worked with all these fine folks, including House of Glory, including the Solid Monster, and right here on Off the Script. He's only a DM away, SRXGFX on Twitter. I am getting out of here, guys. Thank you so very much, and I will see you right back here for SmackDown Live and their go-home show for the biggest fraud of the summer, Summer Scam. I'll see you guys on SmackDown Live.